What did we do last class? I think we did,
We did like we were working on like a mini game. We had to guess I think favorite foods of a pet in like the order, and then
oh,
like ask you each
yeah,
time.
we got it. Okay. Do you have to, yeah, was it done in an IDE or Replete? I think it was done in Replete, right? At the end?
Yeah, it was done and replete.
Okay. Whoever it was, I think, get that code and slap it on the screen. And no, actually, no, share the URL in the chat window, and someone other than that person would, I'd like someone other than that person to pick up that code. Was not Daniel. Who was the last person to code last class on, was it on Thursday?
It was me.
Oh, Flavio, it was you. Yeah, okay. So not Daniel, not Flavio, okay? And so someone else. Well, it's only 8:05. Maybe we'll ask again in 5 minutes. So at 8:10, someone other than the two of you can pick up that code, and we'll run with that. And I'm very optimistic that we can actually wrap up that game today. Um, well, I don't know if you should call it a game. Yeah, I think it actually is a much more exciting game than the number guessing game. Did we ever implement that other thing that we in a previous class? I mean, so we've done a lot of stuff that I've actually forgotten, I think. So, well, not forgotten. I'm not sure if we did it this quarter or the previous quarter. This is where you pick a number, and then the user has to guess which number it is. And then if you get the right number, you say, yes, you won. If you didn't and ran out of tries, you say no. Did we end up doing that at all? I think we did, right? It's just that we've changed places, and I've moved from the living room to this um, lab, and so let's see. I got to watch those videos, I guess. What I've been telling you guys to do. Yeah, well, I think maybe we did, but this is certainly, I think, likely to be a better game. Mhm. All right. Well, if you guys have another idea, a different idea, you could bring it up here, and then we can consider if we want to do that instead. But we do have a solid backup plan, I think. I think that should work. That game, um, in my mind, I don't think it's more than 100 lines of code, right? And I think that we've easily cut 100 lines in past classes. So I think we should be able to do that today. If we start at 8:10, maybe 8:15, right? We start coding at 8:15, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to have 2 or 3 people code, and and then I think we should be able to be done with that game. Fingers crossed, okay? Well, I don't know. Well, there may be bugs, or maybe there's things that I've overlooked in my mind. We'll find out, right? I mean, we're going to be coding with many pairs of eyes, and then hopefully, if we do something wrong, or something that tells us that this game is not going to work at all, we'll find out sooner than later, because someone will chime in and say, hey, I mean, it's, yeah, okay. So, but I think it should work, theoretically anyway, theoretically, okay? Because the reason why I say theoretically is because, well, this is Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday. The reason I say theoretically is because even before having written the program and tested it out, I can confidently say theoretically. I don't know if I should say confidently, but certainly, maybe I should say confidently, say theoretically, because the total number of pairs in any list is n times n minus 1 over 2, yes? And when all the students are here, I'll tell you why. but it's pretty straightforward to find out, right? It's n choose 2, and so total number of pairs is of the order of n squared, and so let's say, it's not even n times n minus 1 over 2. Let's say it's even n squared, right? N squared is bigger than n times n minus 1 over 2, yes? Okay, so let's say it's n squared. So if you could take a list of items and examine every single pair of items, right? Every single pair, right? And then if that particular pair is out of order, because when you say you're going to sort it, you have an ordering in your mind, right? So you can take every pair and check if it is in the right order, right? If it's not in the right order, just put it back in the right order by flipping it, right? So my untested hypothesis, my untested conjecture or claim is that by examining a maximum of n squared pairs, right? Maximum of n squared pairs, you can be guaranteed that the list will be sorted, right? Your array will be sorted, and the maximum number of pairs you ever have to examine is n squared, right? Because if you've taken a look at every single pair and make sure those pairs themselves are ordered correctly, then the whole thing has to be ordered, right? So does that make sense to you guys? Because I think it's a very subtle point, and it's a very important point, because in your mind, that sets a baseline efficiency, right? So you're saying that even if I did an almost brain dead way of sorting, no cleverness at all, right? No cleverness, because when you bring cleverness into it, you can make it faster than n squared. But without any cleverness, if I were just to go in and sort things, I can do it with a maximum of n squared examinations, right? And changes n squared. So which means that if I have an array of 5 items, in the worst possible case, I only need to look at 25 pairs. Actually, it's not 25, right? Because it is 5 times 4 over 2. That's 10, right? So if I examine 10 pairs in 5 items, only 10 pairs, I should be able to sort it. So that means that if we play this game, we know, right? If we start with an array of 5 food items, then examining 2 food items at a time in 10 of those examinations, I can guarantee that no matter what the internal preference order is for these items, I can discover it in just 10 examinations, right? 5 and 10. So if I had 10 items, then I should be able to find the correct ordering in how many examinations, how many checks? Can someone tell me that? What's the maximum number of checks I should do before I am guaranteed, right? I'm guaranteed to have sorted. Now, here's the interesting thing. Yeah, 45. Thank you, Nicholas, right? 45, because it's 10 times 9 over 2. That's 5 times 9 is 45, right? So, so the interesting thing about the game is that you're guaranteed to find it in 45, or, and choose 2 checks. But many times people will take more than that, right? Because they're doing redundant checks many times, useless checks. And so the trick is going to be, to win this game, the trick is going to be, first of all, get to the baseline, meaning you eliminate all the baseline, redundant checks. You don't ask the same question more than once. Also, to see if you can bring some cleverness to bear on this game, because by making some clever, educated guesses, you can, in fact, guarantee that you don't need n choose 2 examinations. You can actually get to it in 10 examinations, right? Not 10, maybe 10, 20, 30. So of the order of less than n squared, okay? Less than n choose 2 examinations. It's actually possible, right? So, and that I think we can leave as an exercise an interesting exercise for you guys to explore, experiment, and then even share on the forum, saying, "Hey, I've managed to discover a sequence of moves that lets me win this game in less than 10 checks," things like that. Okay, I think it'll be fun. Yeah, actually, you know what? Um, if any of you is, I don't know if we have time. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't have to be during class. Okay. So if any of you is interested in just turning this game into a web app meaning you create a URL and then you can pass it, you can forward it on to your friends, you can post it in social network on Twitter and so on. So click on this link and then you can play a game written in JavaScript. It's Java. If you know C++, even as far as you know now, you don't even know, right? JavaScript will be a piece of cake because it's almost one-to-one, right? You easily change. In fact, I can guide you, right? I can guide you. And if any of you is interested in turning this game that we'll develop today in class into a web application, a web game, where anyone in the world can just click on the URL and play in GUI, right? So in fact, well, maybe we can style it differently in the web app. It doesn't have to be a pet and the order of preferences. It can be a game, right? A baseball game, 10 teams, and then you're trying to order the teams, right? By not round robin, right? But you're trying to order the teams, find the teams by facing off two at a time, right? You take two times, get them to play, one team wins, okay? And then that tells you the order of just those two teams, right? So you have teams A through J, and then you got teams, and they're in some order, right? And you got team B to play against team F, right? And then F1. Then you know that the order of B and F should be like that, right? F is better than B, right? So I think that if you do a game, a web-based game, you can actually do a really cool thing here, right? We can play with some graphics. This is JavaScript and graphics and web-based graphics. It's all very, very easy because we're not talking about real-time shading and rendering. We're basically talking about picking up GIFs, maybe even animated GIFs, dragging them into place. You can have 10 baseball players. Actually, no, let's do something. Yeah, instead of baseball players, or you can do pro bending matches like in the Avatar series, right? Korra and Mako and Bola and Aang and Toph, right? So pro bending. So you got 10 benders, okay, and then you would say. And you need to determine the rankings of those 10 benders, okay? The rankings are only known to the system, and you have to discover the rankings by choosing two of those benders, right? Click on Toph, click on Aang, okay? And they're going to face off, right? As you click on those two, and they'll, the two GIFs will move to the center, and then there's going to be a face off here, maybe some animated GIF, and then the winner already determined because you know who's more powerful, right? So this whole animation is just going to be some visual eye candy here because the result is already known. So when they face off, you know who needs to go on the left, who needs to go on the right. So when you put them back, you put them in the right position, right? And then the game could be that the player, me, right, or whoever is playing, your cousin or your friend, will basically say, right, round one, okay, I choose those two players, okay, choose those two players to play round one, okay, and they come play, the order is determined, and they go back, possibly flipped, okay, and then round two, you choose two other players, round three, all right, and then you get to play you get to organize a number of these rounds, and I think the challenge would be to determine the correct ordering with the minimum number of games played, okay, and then you can have the system keep checking to say, hey, well, at any number of times, and then the best coach or the best season game manager, tournament manager could be the one that is able to determine the rankings, the correct rankings with the least number of games played, or tournaments. I think that'll be cool. All right, so let's do the pet thing in class in C++. And if any of you is interested in doing a web app, and learn JavaScript on the side, well, I think if at least 2 or 3 of you, right? So if it's just one person, I could just do it by email. But if there's 2 or 3 of you, I'm happy to show you how to create a web application of the game that we're going to create in class. um, Not during class. Pick a time, right? Anytime. Maybe. Well, actually, I don't have a strong light in this room, so it has to be before it gets dark. um, I could move one of these lights if necessary, but pick a time outside of class hours, and then I will do a Zoom session just like this, where I will guide you. I'll guide you. Hopefully you have a Mac or something else where you can create a web app locally, right? You don't have to log in elsewhere. And then once you have it working on your Mac, and it looks cool, I'll be happy to host your game on our nonlinear media website. Okay, so it could be like I don't know, foothill.nonlinearmedia.org/student projects, or let's not even call it student projects /games/ I don't know, right? Flavio's pro bending uh, tournament or something like that. Okay, so I'm happy to host it there. All of that is, we're talking about a couple of hours of work, really, all the way from now. Well, let's not say from now, after we finish the C++ implementation. Okay, after we got the C++ implementation today, we're talking about a couple of hours max to get the JavaScript thing going. Well, I don't know, maybe I should take that back, because sometimes it takes a long time to go online and search for these pretty pictures, because you want to have the right pictures and make the game look cool, and styling it, that takes a bit of time. But I think the logic and wiring things together and getting it to go and work properly without bugs, I think that's a max of 2 hours. And then you can take another day or a couple of days to work with your friends and relatives, and pretty up the page, and before you forward it on social media, say, hey guys, come and play my game. Okay, so I think it'll be a cool exercise for you, and it will also help you learn about how web apps are developed, how web pages are created, how interactive web apps, right? And also pick up some JavaScript on the side. So I think it'll be fun. Um, we'll play it by ear, okay? At the end of today's class, we'll play it by ear. And by the way, I realized that we only have not even 5. We have Thursday, and then we have 2 classes next week. No, we have 1 class next week. Is it we have 1 class next week? Yeah, we have 1 class next week, and then 2 classes a week after. That's it. Okay, so after today's class, you have a total of 3 classes. That's it, right? And that's the end of the quarter. And so, but fortunately, I think we've covered most of the important stuff. Just a little bit left. Recursion, I don't know. We'll touch upon recursion briefly, but I want to cover a real world data structure also. Well, this week we'll continue to work on sorting and things like that. Well, I'll think about it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is what we'll do. All right. For the remaining 3 classes, this is my plan. So why is it so quiet here? I'm the only one talking. There's no sound of either any of you even breathing. Well, obviously you're all on mute, but hopefully you're all there. Okay. So
Yes, we are here.
oh, thank you, Rizo. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. So on Thursday, that's day after tomorrow, we'll try and implement a stack class. Okay, a stack. A stack is a real life data structure, that is used everywhere, right? Everywhere, and in particular, the operating system and the C++. The operating system uses stacks to know how to chain function calls, right? And we never really got an opportunity to talk about where stacks are used in function calls, so we can take that opportunity to talk about that on Thursday. And also implement a real stack on Thursday. Next week on Tuesday and Thursday, no, actually only Tuesday, right? Only Tuesday. Yeah. Well, yeah, Tuesday we'll do stacks. And then week 11, we can talk about recursion, recursion. I think it's a useful thing to talk about. Although you shouldn't really be using recursion in 2A, right? You should be using iteration anytime it's possible. You should use iteration. Right? So next class, next new, week 11, I'll talk about recursion and also introduce, this, quite popular term called dynamic programming, right? Everybody talks about dynamic programming. You go to lead code and you say, you have this whole section where you have dynamic programming problems, DP problems, okay? So, and everybody is always talking about, hell, you need to know dynamic programming to be able to interview at these companies and so on and so forth, right? So it is the word dynamic programming sound very magical, right? Because it's not a lot, it doesn't have a lot of content built into the words themselves. But it turns out the dynamic programming is it's a misnomer, meaning it's a bad name. There's nothing really dynamic about dynamic programming that is not dynamic about other algorithms that some other algorithms I know. But I'll talk about dynamic programming, demystify it for you. Yeah, I think I'll demystify dynamic programming so that when you go ahead and try to learn about dynamic programming on your own to prepare for interviews at some of these top companies in the Bay Area, you'll know what it is, right? You'll know what DP is and how to use DP, leverage DP, right? How to leverage DP to solve some really not hard problems, hard if you look at them with the wrong perspective, right? If you look at it with the right perspective, it's like a piece of cake, but if you wrong perspective, is really hard. So I'll talk about some of those problems, and remind me, right? If I forget, remind me in week 11. If I ask you, what are we going to do, right? Tell me, let's talk about recursion and dynamic programming, and I'll be happy to do that. Okay, so today I think we should just continue with this game. All right, so someone other than, oh wow, we have quite a few students here. So someone who hasn't been up on stage before, I don't know, because we have quite a few here. I think we have Stephen. Most of the rest of you have been up on stage. Yeah, maybe Stephen. I don't know, right? If Stephen doesn't want to go, I think one of you others, except Daniel and who was this other person? Flavio, right? Anyone other than Daniel and Flavio should just pick up that code, the code that Flavio posted, and then start sharing a screen, and we can go from there. Okay, so go ahead and pick up the screen and share your screen, and let's start coding up this thing. Okay, what time is it now? 8:27. Yeah, I think this is about the time when we actually start discussing actual content in class every week. So go ahead and pick up the link. The first person to click on it and share the screen basically gets it. Okay, so don't make us all wait in suspense. Just go ahead, be brave. Okay, after all, if you're uncomfortable, you can always, you have two roles that you can play on stage, right? You can either play the role of the leading programmer, meaning that most of you, right, even people in class who have told us all, right, told the whole world, I'm a total noob, I'm a beginner, I don't have any idea what the hell is going on, please teach me, right? People say that when they come up on stage. I look at them and say, no, they're not really beginners because they know what they're doing, right? So in that case, they're functioning on stage as a leading programmer, meaning that I'm not spelling out on this, and you guys are not spelling out every single key that needs to be typed. You basically say, well, create a variable, int variable, and they know exactly what to do, right? They go ahead and do that, and so most of you are like that. But if that is not yet where you are, you don't have anything to worry, because you can always either perform in the capacity of a leading programmer, not leading the whole class, leading the section where we're typing, right? Or you can be in the capacity of the typist, right? Well, we're all saying together, calling out what needs to be typed. You're just going to type in, right? You're just going to type in, and that is perfectly fine too. And believe me, right, it was just the act of typing in does in fact have a great deal of influence or impact on your ability to assimilate the material. So even if you think that you're going to type it in brain dead, right? You just switch your brain off and you just type in what other people say, you'll find that at the end of the day, you actually did manage to pick up some useful stuff that you may not have otherwise. Okay, so I would like to I'd like someone to click on that link and share the screen and say, I've got it, okay? And remember, you're not going to do the whole thing, right? So make only up to maybe 1/3 of the way, and then we'll pass it on, pass the baton on to the next person, and so on, okay? So can someone please click on Fabio's link and pick it up, and then I will guide you through the code, and the rest of us will also guide you through the code, and we're going to type it in and make sure it all works.
I don't see any link in the
Stephen,
chat.
thank you. Yeah. You want to go?
I don't see any link in the.
In the chat window. In the chat window.
Okay, it's there now.
Hey, no. Rizzo, not Rizzo's. Right? I think Rizzo has the old one. Oh no, he's also.
No, I just copied the link and resend it.
Okay, so yeah, so Stephen, you can pick up Rizzo's link, and then I think you may need to fork it, right? When you start editing it, it'll probably pop up.
Yeah, I wasn't there last class, so I don't really know what we were doing in this.
That's
So
fine. Well, we'll be talking through it, so don't worry.
sure.
All right. So, and also, if you ever want, you can just go onto our channel and view the video of the last class. Okay, on our YouTube channel, it's there. Okay. Have you seen the video of last class, by the way, Stephen? It's on YouTube. How many of you are actually watching the videos on YouTube, right? I don't know if anybody's watching. I keep telling you guys to watch it, and you should really. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, so yeah, for now, just widen the code window, because let's not have the thank you. There. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We have 5 foods and 10 names. Okay. All right. So the pet, what is I'm trying to look at the code to figure out what it does. I've forgotten what it did. So but I'll talk through it aloud so that you can also, because you weren't here last class, right? So the pet class, the constructor, creates a pet object, gives it a random name, one of those names, right? It gives it a random name, one of those 10 names, and then it is going to assign 10, was it 10? 5 favorite foods. 5 favorite foods. All right. Okay. All right. So let's, is it okay to have the same 5 foods every time? Yeah, we'll do this for now, and then we can change it later. Okay. So there are these 5 foods, and then they're signed, and then you shuffle. Okay. Shuffle is just going to change the order of those foods. Okay. Get favorite foods is going to return a copy of that vector. Okay. All right, let's do this top down. Okay, let's do this top down, meaning that we'll go to main and write out the logic of the game, and then every time we need a function or a method that we end up using in main, we'll go and implement that. Okay, I'll remember that and go back to implement it later. Okay, so in main, you're creating a pet. Okay, and then you're telling the user, I have a pet and my pet eats these things. Okay, my pet get favorite foods. Okay, and then it prints all those things. Here, let's try and do this. Okay, where do you have that for loop? Let's make a utility function, I think. Yeah, so above that for loop, just say, after eats, right? On line 60, after eats, get rid of the new line. Yeah, fork it. Oh, you need to, I see. Can you, yeah, you can unshare it for a sec if you want, and then log in.
Yeah, I think I need to sign in. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll create a utility method which will, given a vector, simply print out the vector, right? So it'll save us having to do that for loop every time we want to see the contents of the vector. So we're going to create a utility method and then use that. So let's do that. I think it should take no more than a couple of minutes. Okay. All right. When you're ready.
Yeah, sorry. I usually don't use REPL, so I need to make an account.
If you want, you can just copy that whole code into your own IDE, and then at the end you can put it back in REPL. I think that's fine too, whichever works for you.
Would you mind like coming back to me like after someone else goes? I could go like second or something.
No worries. Okay. All right. Set up your account and everything in the meanwhile, I guess. So, hey, can someone else pick up Flavio's code and then we'll run with it for now? And then at 1/3 point, you can hand over to Stephen. Stephen, you have already unshared, right? So yeah, can someone please pick up the code? Why is nobody doing that?
We should just pick up code and share the screen.
Yeah, pick up the code and share the screen.
Oh, okay, I'll try.
Is this Rizzo?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Great.
And can you see?
Great. Yeah, I can see your screen. Everybody can see your screen, hopefully. Okay, so where you go, at the end of each, get rid of the new line. And then we're going to create at the line 60.
Line 60, okay.
Yeah, at the end, you have the /n. Get rid of the /n and put a space there. No, hang on. Actually, yeah, /n is fine. /n is fine. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. /n, /n right there. /n, and then instead of the semicolon, say another 2 double less than signs. Okay. Now let's say we're going to create a utility method called vector to string. Okay. So you say vector underscore to underscore string, vector to string. Vector join, right? So there are two methods that are very common in other programming languages. They're called split and join. Okay, so we'll just call it vector join, right? Not vector to string, vector join, right? Vector join. Yeah, and then get rid of the string. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Also the underscore and pass it. Can
you listen? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but there's someone else in the room, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So can you request them until you're done with the class, not the whole class, until you're done with the screen to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I know it's hard, and everybody at home and also we understand. Okay. So vector join, and that's going to be a method. So we're going to pass it a parameter. Okay. So you're going to pass it. Yeah. Open parentheses. You say pass it my pet dot get favorite foods. In fact, you can do it better, right? Grab line 61 and put it above line 60, right? And grab line 61 and put it above line 60. Yeah. Blank line first. Yeah, blank line first. Okay. All right. There you go. New line and enter. No. Yeah. Thank you. It's very hard to blank line after the declarations. It's great. Okay. Now you can pass foods instead of my pet dot get favorite foods. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and implement that vector join method. Right. It's a global method. It's not part of the pet class. So go above main. Line 55 and hit enter. Line 55, hit enter. Right. Yeah, enter, and then start a comment, double forward slash, and then utilities, double forward slash space utilities. Right. Enter. Okay, and the first utility we'll implement is vector join, and it should return a string. Okay, so say string vector join. Join, and it's going to take the vector passed in as a reference, right? I'm saying and a constant reference. The reason we want to pass it as a constant reference is we don't want to unnecessarily copy the whole vector. to pass because we're not going to change it, right? So make it vector join, open parentheses, okay? Const vector of string, vector, angle bracket string. No, angle bracket string, right? It's the same as in line 62. You have on line 62, you have vector string, right? Like that. Right? Space. No, ampersand. No, not space. Ampersand. Yeah, space. Yeah, and vec, or call it some name, vector or v, or yeah. Okay. Now we're going to define the body of this method in here. Okay. So space, curly brace. Yeah, curly brace. Open the body of that method. We're going to define it here. Okay. All right. Give me a blank line before int main so that it's cleanly separated. Okay. All right. So here you're going to create a string, which is a vector representation of that vector. So in order to do that, let's do it the easy way. So create an O string stream, right? So O string stream OS. No, O string stream. No, string stream. Sorry. O string stream. Just like I string stream, you have O string stream. Yeah. And then a semicolon there after the end. Okay. Now, now we want to loop, right? For from I equals 0 to vector.size. So blank line there, blank line. Because the body, yeah, okay, blank line, okay. For size t, I equals 0, I less than vec.size, size t, we got a typo. Yeah, I equals 0. I is less than vec.size, I plus plus. Yeah, and in the body of the method, in the body of the for loop, you're going to say OS double less than yeah, space, and then you say I plus 1 within parentheses. Can you say that I plus 1 within parentheses? Now, why we're putting a parentheses there is something that you guys have to figure out, and maybe you can discuss it in the forums. But you can try it out without parentheses and see what happens. Okay, so space double less than, and then put a period and a space within quotes. Within quotes, a period and a space. Yeah, and then double less than at the end of that. Vec of I. And then let's see, you want to have a space at the end, but you don't want to have a space at the very end. Actually, let's not worry about that now. So there will be a space at the end, but you can clean that up later. Okay. So now that will loop through the vector. Oh, by the way, vec.size is a method. Size is a method on line 61. After size, say open close parentheses. After size, open close parentheses. That's a method. And then here on 63, I is not a parameter. I is the index, so it's square brackets. Okay, and then put a space after that. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Double less than, and then a space within quotes. Okay, and a semicolon there. Right now, when this for loop is done, you should have all the elements in the vector with their corresponding numbers. You should have 1 last row, 2 reso, and so on in one line. Okay, and that is going to needs to be returned. So after the for loop, just say return os.str. .str, and then open close parentheses. Okay, now that takes the output stream and takes the whatever the buffer is inside the output stream and converts that into a string and returns it to you. Now, because you only have one statement in your for loop, you can actually tidy it up by getting rid of the braces, right? So it'll just be for and then that line. So you can get rid of line 62 and 64, right? In fact, 64 should be there as a blank line instead, right? You say triple click on that line and hit delete. Yeah, triple click on 62 and hit delete. Yeah, delete. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you still want to have braces? Get rid of the braces.
So,
Yeah, with one
okay.
line, the braces look kind of funky. Okay, you have to indent in the OS properly. 2 spaces or 4. I think it's 4. No, 2. I think it's it should come under the R. No, indent in. It should O should be under the R. Okay. Now, yeah, and then you can have a blank line before 63. Blank line before 63. The return is the last line, right? Yeah. Okay. Great. Now the function looks cool. Now that is a utility function that will take a vector and give you a string representation of the vector. Now you go back to your main. Now you see that error is gone. So you have it eats, and then you get a list of those foods, right? Now, get rid of the for loop 75 to 77. You don't need it anymore because you're not printing it, right? So, oh yeah, we use exactly the same kind of syntax here. All right, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You don't need that. Get rid of all those blank lines. Yeah, so yeah, that also. Okay, now you have the pat, and then you have the vector of its favorite foods, and then you've shuffled it. Now, after shuffling, you got the secret order. You don't know what the order is, but it's in there in some order. Now you have to discover what the order is, right? Now, before you do that, run it and see if our utility method works, okay? We want to make sure that the utility method works as we expect it to. Right? It should be clean and neat and print all the vectors. Okay, so run it. Okay, so does it look good? Tomato eats, and then it has those 10 items. Oh, there's no new line at the end. Okay, so that's why we need to run it, right? Where is it? At the eats. Yeah. On 72. On 72, at the end of the line, put a new line also.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure. Put in two new lines, by the way, 2, because I think it'll look better with 2 new lines.
What's the reason that you didn't use braces for the for loop?
Because there's only one statement, right? So you only need braces if you have more than one statement. Then you put them all inside a block. A block is between.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that looks good, right? So I got the tomato, and it eats these things, and they're all in that particular order, right? Now, give me 2 foods, and I'll tell you which one is better, which one I like better. Okay, that's great. Okay. All right, great. Now, what we want to do is let's give them a better prompt than that. Inside of your for loop on line 78, we're actually coding the logic of the game now. Let me see. You want to say yeah. So let's change the prompt, okay? In fact, on line 73. Let's say what the user needs to do. On line 73, cout, guess the order of my food preferences. Guess my I don't know, how do you say that? Someone, guess the order of my food preferences. I don't know. Guess the
just say guess my favorite food.
Yeah, guess the order of my favorite foods. Guess the order. No, not all the favorite foods. Guess the order of my favorite foods. My favorite foods. And then on the next line, new line there, new line. Full stop after foods, period after foods. And then on the next line, you say, cout, you can ask me questions like, ask me questions like colon space, colon space, and then colon space. Do you like A or B, right? Do you like A or B? Is that a good question? Do you like do you prefer A or B? Do you prefer A or B? Because we want to decode the preference order, prefer A or B. Yeah, and let's forget the question mark right now. Okay. Okay, good. And on the next line, you say, please omit the question mark for now. Please omit the question mark for now. Within parentheses, right? Because it's not your. Yeah. Please omit the question mark for now. Yeah, single M. Yeah, and L. Single N for omit, and then put that sentence within parentheses also, so that it's yeah. Single M for omit. Yeah, O-M-I-T. Okay. Now you can yeah. And in fact, move logically, right? Move 76 to above 73, right? Because after you've shuffled is when you're going to ask the user, okay, I've got an order, you got to find out, right? So move that there. Okay, great. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Now, if you run it now, so we keep on running it every time we make a change to make sure we didn't break anything. Okay. All right. So in fact, it looks like you also need another new line after the, please omit that thing. Yeah, on 74, no, not there. Yeah, there. Thank you. All right. So now it'll look much better, I think. Okay. Now, inside of the for loop, right, on line 81, you're going to guess the so see out, what is see out, we got to print a prompt. What kind of prompt can we print in order to make the user enter that? So you say ask your question, question mark, ask your question, colon, ask, colon space, yeah, colon space, right? Yes, that's the end of the prompt. And now you can accept user input. No, not end line. Let the user ask on the same line, right? So, but always when the user types something, it's better to type on the same line as a prompt. Okay, now we want to get the user input into a string called user input. Okay, so we want a string variable called user input, and we want to get line from CN into user input. No. If you use CN greater than, it'll only get one word. We want the entire line. We want the entire line the user typed in, right? So we want to use get line. So you say get line CN comma, no, get line, one word. Yeah. Open parentheses, Yeah. CN comma user input. CN comma user input. Now, after that line, user input, you need a semicolon. Rizo, is this you, Rizo? Rizo?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. You're missing a lot of things. Your mind is not 100% here. Okay, because last time you coded, you were actually on top of it. Now you're thinking about something else, I think. You're missing out semicolons and getting syntax errors. Okay, so focus more. All right, now user input has that thing in there. What we need to do now is take whatever the user gave us, and then we need to split it up into individual words. Yes or no? Because when we get what the user has told us, we can compare it to the question we expect. Did the user ask us a question which is of the form, do you prefer A or B, right? So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so what we need is another utility function. So here, say vector space, this is a vector of string, right? Vector of string. How do you do vector of string? Yeah, thank you. Okay, space words equals. Yeah, now we're going to take that vector, the string the user typed in, and we're going to split it up and create a vector of strings where each string is a separate word. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So words equals vector underscore split vector underscore split. So this is another utility method, and we're going to type that, we're going to create that utility method also, right? Split foods. Now you're going to pass foods as a parameter. Yeah. Yeah, as a parameter. Yes, thank you. Okay, semicolon, enter, enter. Right, now we're going to go up to the utilities part and implement vector split, okay? Implement vector split. Yeah, so take, no, not there. So that is from 57 to, that is the body of vector join. We want to create another method called vector split under that, right? So go to line 60, enter, one more time. Right? Now this method is going to return a vector. So it's going to say return a vector, not there. So there you say vector of string. It's going to return a vector of string, not a string. It's going to return a vector of string. Yeah, vector of string. Yeah, and it's going to return it, right? So space, after, what did we call it? Vector split, vector split. The method is vector split. No, you don't. It's not inside of parentheses, right? It's the name of the method is vector split. Yeah, thank you. Vector split. And what is the parameter that vector split gets given?
String. User input.
Yeah. So yeah, string. So string s. No, it's not user input because this method doesn't know. It's just given a string and it needs to str or s. Yeah. Okay. So because this method doesn't know what it's given, the main method knows it's user input, but this method is just, you give me a string, I'll split it. Okay. So here, what we're going to do is take that string, create a string stream with it, and then now we read off one word at a time from the string stream and stuff it into the vector. Okay. So the vector that we're going to create in order to return, you're going to say here, you say vector of string words, okay? Declare a vector of string called words or something, W or words or something like that. Vector of string, okay? Yes, a string, yeah, string, a space, words. Okay, now this vector is now empty. It's a semicolon. It's empty. Now I string stream, is, space is, and to the constructor of the string stream, you're going to pass this string s. Okay, so open parentheses s. Yeah, actually call it iss, right? Because is is an English word, and it's yeah. Okay, iss, right? So it's a semicolon there, semicolon at the end. So now we've got a string stream that's attached to that string. Now, every time we read from that string stream, it's going to get the next word from it, okay? So now you have a, enter one more time. Now we're going to do the logic of this method, okay? So you can say while, oh no, we need another variable, okay? So under iString stream, say string word, okay? We want to create a single word, right? So it's string word, okay, semicolon. Now two new lines. Yeah, okay, right? So while, okay, open, okay, great. ISS, double greater than word. No, greater than word, okay? No, why? No, not greater than or equal to, right? You can't compare strings for greater than or equal to, right? Double greater than. Now, what that means, no, double greater than. So here, this is a new construct, right? I'm actually glad we started writing this method, our utility method, because it's a new construct, right? Because what does it do? It's just like cin greater than word, cin double greater than word, right? Cin double greater than x, cin double greater than n, right? Exactly like that. You got iss double greater than word. What is it going to do? It's going to take the stream iss, going to read the word from its buffer and put it inside word. That's exactly what cin double greater than something does, right? But it also returns a value. Now, if it happens to be that the stream is empty, meaning the string has been exhausted, I've read every single word from it, there's nothing left, then iss will actually return the equivalent of false and your while loop will fail. Okay, so now inside of the while loop body, we can talk about the body of this loop later on, try and understand it better. Okay, you don't need braces because there's only one line, right? You don't need that. There's only one line, just like before. Okay, now you say space space, indent in. Okay, so you want to say words dot pushback push underscore back, push underscore back. Yeah, and then word. It's a word within, you're going to, passing word as a parameter to push back the method push back. You pass word as a parameter to, yeah. Yeah, this autocomplete is sometimes gets on your nerves, right? Okay, all right, semicolon there, right? And after the while loop, no, you need semicolon, right? And when the while loop is done, you just return words and you're done, right? So at the end, just return words and you're done with that utility method, right? So return words. Very nice, Rizzo. You indented and you inserted a blank line at the right place and all. So it's cool. Okay, now go back to main. Go back to main. And then after vector split words, why is it still underlined? Why is mouse over? I want to see why it's underlined. No matching function call to vector split. Go up. I thought we just defined it. Go up. I thought you got vector string, vector split string s. So I think just save it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What did we do in that while loop with the words pushback?
Yes. One sec. I want to make sure that what this I don't know why we have this error here that it says it doesn't know about the vector split method, but right there, it's right there in front of us, right? So vector of string words, yeah, that's what it returns. That's all fine. And foods. Oh, food. No, yeah, of course. Foods is not an array. So you want to pass it user input, not foods. Yeah, okay. Okay, all right. So well, what was your question, Rizzo? Words that push back? Okay, so words is a vector of strings, right? You got to, you guys have to audibly chime in here and tell me yes, okay? Because as I'm explaining this, right? Words is a vector of strings, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. When we start out, words is empty. There's nothing in there inside of words. Now, the way you insert things into words is you can do it multiple ways, as you would know by the time you're at quest number 7. You can either resize it to make them all, lots of empty cells, and then assign to those empty cells. That's one way of doing it. Another way is to say, here's a string, push it to the end. Here's another string, push it at the end. So you keep pushing things into the vector will, push it in and grow, right? So that's what pushback is. It takes a single string and pushes it at the last and at the end of the vector. That's what pushback does. So inside of the while loop, you're getting words from the string, one word at a time, and each word you get, you push at the end of the vector. So that's what that while loop does. Now, is that 100% clear?
Yeah, so it just appends it to the end of the vector.
Yes, it's appending to the end of the vector, not at the end of the string. Okay, so now, and we can confirm that too. We can confirm that. Okay, so go to the end after the vector split, right? So you say right there at line 97, see out. Here are the words you told me, right? So you mentioned these words, or here are the words you spoke, or you asked. Here are the words in your question, right? Here are the words in your question. Your question, colon, space, yeah, okay, and then double less than, then you can join words and print out and see what happens, okay? So no, I think it's, how did we join the words? How did we join words? You have a vector of strings, you need to join them into a single string, right? A vector of words, you want to join them in one after another. How do you do that? You want to join all the words to get a single string. How do you do that?
You want to join the word that is in the vector
into a single string. How do you do that? Someone tell me that. Not necessarily Rizzo, anyone, okay? Hit the space bar and tell me, I have a vector of strings called words. I want to take that vector and turn that into a string where all the words are in the string instead of in the vector. So how do you do that? Can someone tell me?
Make a method to do that just above vector split. You just use vector join.
Augie, yes, okay. Anyone else care to chime in? No? Augie's the only one who has an answer? Augie, do we have a method like that?
I think so. If not, we can pretty easily make
one.
one.
Where is that method? Where is that method?
It's just above the definition for vector split, right?
Yes, thank you. All right. So Rizo, did you understand what Augie was saying? You've already written that method. You have that method. It's called vector join. That's exactly what that vector does. That method.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, and you
It's-
already used that too before. On line 84, you use that. You use vector join of foods, right?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, so you do the same thing here for your words. Let's make sure that you have your words, okay? So where is that? Okay, words. You want to do vector join of words, not, yeah. Now, I think this whole exercise is really, really like super duper useful, right? I mean, if someone doesn't watch this video, you got to tell them, you got to force them to watch this video, because we're doing a lot of really important things here that not only teach you C++, but also get you in the frame of mind where you can develop your own programs, right? Because, most of the time after CS2A, people say, yeah, well, I know CS2B, I know C++, I've done CS2A. You tell me what to do and I can do it in C++. Yeah, okay, big deal, right? There's a million people who can do that, right? So what this whole exercise, today's class, teaches you is, that's all fine. You guys are all there already. You can take someone else's code and someone can direct you to do it. Now, what this does is you're starting out with an idea of your own, and in the process of implementing your idea, you need certain utility methods, right? And 100% of the time, I can guarantee, right? Anything you do that is even, moderately significant, you're going to have to create various utility methods. Now, this is fantastic practice. I don't believe that there are, so this is fantastic practice because we went ahead and created those two utility methods. Yeah, I think we may create more too, right? So vector join, yeah, pass it words. Pass it words and then run it. Pass it words and then run it. And then let's make sure that that also works. Okay. So run it. Save it and run it. Let's make sure that works also. Okay. Now type in, type in something, A, B, C, D, E, F, I don't know, just type in some words because we're not doing anything more, right? Just type in a bunch of words. Anything, yeah. How are you? Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Hit enter. Okay. So here are the words in your question. How are you? Oh, you forgot the new line after the join, right? So that's fine, but we don't need it. We just need to make sure that your splitting works. Okay. Now that test confirms to us that your split works as expected. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So we're doing it step by step and making sure that every step is now built and solid, rock solid, before we go on to build the next step. Okay. So now you can get rid of line 97 because we know that the splitting works, right? Splitting works. Okay. All right. So here now we are going to extract A and B, right? A and B as the two food items that the user gave us. Okay. So so we know that words of 0 is going to be do, and as words of 1 is going to be you, and words of 3, 2, and so on, right? So let's make some very rudimentary checks to make sure that what the user typed in is what we expect them to type in, right? So what we want to do here is do some checks. If words.size, if words.size, if words.size is less than, is not equal to, actually, right? If words.size is not, how many words should we have in the user's question? Yeah, size is a method. Size is a method. Yeah, size is a method. Okay, is not equal to 6, because I think we want the user to type in 6 words. Do you prefer A or B, right? In fact, change the A or B to A to B, right? Because we want the user to, we're going to respond with yes or no. I think that's better, because if it's the or B, I don't know what what will. Yeah, A to B, A to B, A T O, A space T O. Space TO. Okay. All right. So words.size. Words.size not equal to 6. Why is it saying that? Why is there an underline under words? Oh, yeah. No, not equal to not 6. It's not equal to 6. Okay. All right. So if that is, if it's no semicolon there, right? 6. Okay, now in the body of the for loop, yeah. Okay, you can say cout, I'm sorry, I only understand questions of the form. Do you prefer A to B? Or you can reword it if you want to make it more succinct, but that's basically what we want to say. I'm sorry, please phrase it. I don't know. Questions of in the form, do you prefer A to B? And I think that can be within single quotes of the form. Do you prefer A to B in single quotes? Yeah. Do you prefer? That should be in single quotes. No, not A to B. The do you prefer A to B should be in single quotes because that's what we want the user to type in, right? Okay. All right. Now we know that it has 6. All right. Now, but we need more checks on line 98. So go back to line 98 before the parentheses, right? If it, yeah, on 90 before the closing parentheses, right? And then you say if words is not equal to 6, or words of 0 is not equal to do, words of 1 is not equal to you, and so on, right? So or 2 vertical bars, yeah, or words of 0 . Thank you. Yeah, not equal to do, not equal to do, not equal to do within quotes. It has to be within quotes, right? And then again, or words of 1 is not equal to you. No, words of 1 not equal to you. Words of 1, yeah, not equal to you. And then 3 prefer, and then 4 we ignore for now, and 5 should be 0, 1, 2 is prefer, 3, and then 4 should be 2. Words of 2 not equal to prefer, or words of 4 not equal to 2. No, not it is, words of 4 is 2, right? TO. Do you prefer a 2? Yeah, okay. And then I think you've got some syntax errors there. Fix that. No, don't run it. Yeah, you can't run it. It says it's running right now, but that's okay, right? All right, not equal to 2. All right, so if our very precise requirement for the way the question should be formatted is not met, we're just going to crap out and say, no, I can't understand this question, and go back to the top of the loop, right? So after the cout, just say continue. After the cout, just say continue. Okay, great. Now let's do something here. Let's also tell the user how implicitly how many tries they've got, and let's say we want to give them more than 10. Let's make that 10, 25 tries. Okay, make that 25 or 100 tries for on line 91. Give the user 100 tries, or make them 25 tries, not 10. 25, and then in fact we're going to do this. Start from I equals 1. Start from I equals 1, and then go to less than or equal to 25 instead of 25. Now that means we'll start at 1 and go all the way, including 25. Now before ask your question, say, print I and then a period, so you know which turn it is, right? Is it the first turn or the second turn or the third turn, right? No, on the same line as the cout, on line 94, on line 94. Yeah, after the double less than, yeah, you say I, and then space, double less than, yeah, and then put a period and a space before the ask. Before the ask, yeah, put a period and space, period and a space. So that will say 1 dot, ask your question, 2, ask your question, and so on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Good. All right. So this will print the prompt, get the question, break it up, check the question to make sure that it's all the right format. Now, if at this point, if you reach line 103, it means that everything is in order and you've got the 2 foods in there right now. So we're going to extract those 2 foods and basically say, food 1, yeah, get rid of line 103. Get rid of line 103 and say string food 1 equals string food 1, yeah, equals, what is it? Words of, where is food 1? Words of 3, I think. Words of 3 and 6. 3 and 5. Words of 3. Words of 3 is food 1. Yeah. Do you prefer A, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Words of 3. The third word is your first food, isn't it? And then your second food is what word?
5.
Yeah, go ahead, do that. Copy the line and change the, yeah, right? Here's the easy way, okay? Don't do anything. Yeah, triple click. Okay, thank you. Paste it, change that to food 2 and words of 5. So the reason you had that mess when you pasted it, well, the indentation was off and everything, was because you didn't triple click on the whole line. You only copied that. Okay, we'll do that next time. Okay, words of 5. Now we got food 1 and food 2. Now what we need to do is essentially look at the order of these 2 foods in the order of the foods that the pet has. Okay, and then find out if the user told us the right thing or not. Okay, and so what we're going to do is basically we want to find the index of food 1 and food 2 in the list of foods, in the list of favorite foods the user has. Okay, so we want another, well, let's do it. All right, so under that, enter. Okay, now int, no, size t, yeah, food 1 index, food 1 index equals find index of another utility method. Okay, so we're writing 3 different utility methods, right? Okay, open parentheses, you're going to pass it 2 parameters. Okay, the first parameter is going to be your words. No, not words, your favorite foods, mypet.favorite right? Mypet.favorite. Right? And this shouldn't be foods, right? You have to remember, it's mypet.favorite, because foods is what you got before it was shuffled. Now what we have is after it's been shuffled. Okay, so mypet foods, comma, it's a function call. It's a function call. Mypet get favorite foods, right? Mypet.get favorite foods. Get favorite foods. And that's a method. No. So sorry. Mypet, find index of mypet dot get favorite foods. You're calling the method to return get favorite foods. Yeah, get underscore favorite foods. Okay, I think it's foods, isn't it? Okay, and it's a function call. Okay, and then what is it you want to find the index of in that vector? Okay, comma, food 1. Okay, 1. Okay, and do the same thing for food 2. Now here, I'll tell you what to do. No, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Just click once. Right, now 3 clicks, 3 rapid clicks, triple click. Triple click, not double. Okay. Now hit is this a Mac or a PC?
PC.
Okay, hit Control X. Okay, Control V 2 times. 2 times. Okay, good. Now go ahead and change to.
Yeah.
Okay, at the end. All right, now you got some extra spaces before the semicolon and all. You can clean it up later, okay? So, and I think your MyPad is probably wrong. Why is it MyPad? Why is MyPad underlined? There's no, you don't have a variable called MyPad. Okay, it's my underscore pad. But put an underscore after my. Hey, Rijo, you got to remember these things, okay? Your mind is not 100% in this code today. Are you thinking, yeah, if you want, because the other day you were like totally into it, now you're thinking about something else, right? Because you're missing a lot of these things which you are eminently capable of picking up. So if you want, you can hand over to Flavio if he's ready, okay? And watch the video later where you can pick up the stuff, right? It's that's better. But otherwise, just bring your focus back to this thing, okay? Can't afford to be thinking about other things when you're coding. Okay, now you got the 2 indexes. Now we're going to go ahead and implement the 2 utility, the utility method, find index of, okay? So go up there, okay? And then create that. And that is going to return a size t, okay? Under, yeah, so yeah, there you go. Enter, enter, okay? Return a size t, find index of, find in size t. Now it's going to return size t, yeah, thank you, size t, and then find index of, space, find index of, okay, and then fill in the rest of the method of the signature, okay. What does find index of? It takes a vector and it takes a string, okay. It takes a vector of strings, which you can accept by constant reference, because you're not going to change it, you're just going to find in it, right? So it takes 2 parameters. The first parameter is a vector of strings, and the second parameter is going to be a single string. Okay, okay. Ampersand. So you're going to pad, yeah, okay. Okay, and it's going to take it passed by reference, and it's going to be a const too, right? So you can fix that later. Okay, so vec, call it vec, comma, and then string s. Now change the vector string to const vector string, okay? After that, okay. Change the vector string to const vector string. But yeah, there, const. So that means that you're going to get a vector passed in by reference, not copy, and you're not going to change it, okay? So that's what that means. And then you're going to find the index of string s in that vector, okay? So inside of, okay? So inside you're going to do for I equals 0 to vec.size. If vec of I is equal to s, then you just return I, yeah? That's the index. No, not that.
Vec of I.
Yeah, so for I equals 0, I is less than vec.size. You got it. And you need a semicolon after the I equals 0, right? That indicates that you haven't had enough practice, right? Because once you had, and by the way, it's size t, I equals 0. Size t, I equals 0. For, not there, okay? Not there. For size t, I equals 0. So here's, so when you practice a lot, right? You have to practice, every one of you, right? You have to practice a lot. So when you practice a lot, and then you need to implement a for loop, for I equals 0, instantly, right? Your mind will just spit out the template for size t, I equals 0, right? And everything will just fall into place right there. So you don't have to consciously think about these steps, because these are your building block steps, right? You can't afford to think about the building block steps, okay? For size t, I equals 0, I is less than vec.size, okay? That entire thing should just fall out. It's a pattern. It's a pattern that should fall out, okay? So vec.size.
Vectors.
Size, right? So open, close parentheses, open, close parentheses. So that entire line, right? Line 90, line 81, yes, yeah, semicolon, space, I++, right? Format it nicely. Okay. All right. So if vec.size doesn't take a parameter, right? Vec.size just returns. Now you've written this loop before, right? In many times, right? On line 61, you've written the loop on right? So that is a standard loop for iterating over a vector, and that should be internalized. Now, if it's not internalized, do it like 100 times. It's okay. Do it like 100 times. It should be internalized. So anytime you need to do a loop over vectors, that should basically be your first statement, and it just falls out of your mind without thinking. It should fall for I c I equals 0, I is less than vector thus I plus plus, right? So bam, like that. So you shouldn't have to think about that, and get it to that place. Get it to the place where you just falls out. Okay. Now, again, I don't think you need braces because it's just going to be one line. Okay. Right. If vec of I equals s, return I. And it's the body of the for loop, right? It's the body of the for loop, so it needs to be indented in. Vec of I,
So
vec square bracket, I, space, double equals s. No, double equals s. If it's the same as s, then we found the index we're after, right? No, double equals s, okay? Right? Return s, or return I. That's the index we're after, right? Now, this belongs to the for loop, right? So it needs to be indented correctly. No, see, you were indenting by 2 spaces before, and now you're indenting by 1. So these inconsistencies, Rizo, no. See, elsewhere you're indenting by 2 spaces, I think. Now you're indenting by only 1 space. Do you see what I mean? But your if statement is only indented by 1 space.
it should be 2.
Because elsewhere you're using.
Yeah, I think.
No.
No, it's not that it should be 2. It's whatever you go with, you should stick with whatever standard you go. Since you've used 2 previously, you should use 2 every time. And so there you should have 2 spaces in front of the if, and 2 spaces in front of and 2 spaces in front of the return for the for, and another 2 spaces in front of the return for the if.
Yes.
So 2 and 4.
Andrew, thank you. Yes. Did you see? Did you hear what Andrew said? See what Andrew said? Right. You need 2 spaces in front of the if. Go to 82.
2 spaces.
Yeah, I think your mind is not here today, Rizo. Your other circumstances in your life, maybe. Right? You can pass it on to Flavio today if you want. Okay. So, and then your return should also be
4 spaces total for the return.
Yeah,
because the return should belong to the if, and both the if and return belong to the for. So that's why you're indenting the way you are. And now to your earlier question of like, is it correct to do 2 or 4? That I wouldn't say there's necessarily a correct way, but you want it to be uniform across your entire code.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, just stick to the same. It doesn't matter if you use different, just stick to the same thing all the way through. And this one, you won't notice the effect now, okay? Now you can program in a less than tidy way and it'll work, but you can do much better things than this, right? So you'll be stuck with small projects. You can't do big things if you all right? Now, when will it exit the for loop, right? 2 situations. It will exit the for loop if it actually found the string in the vac, it'll return, right? That if it didn't find the string at all, then also it'll exit the for loop, but unsuccessfully, right? So you need to signal a way. You need a way to signal it back to the user saying, hey, you asked me to find something and I didn't find it, right? So at the end, hit enter there, enter. Okay, now go back to the under the F and the for, right? One more. Okay, now you return string : n pos. All right, so return. You never do cout statements in utility functions. Okay, return. Yeah, and the reason is because the user does not expect utility functions to bam output things. Okay, return string : n pos. That is our sentinel. Okay, a sentinel tells you that, wait, it's the string : n pos is not a valid index. It's some large number. Remember back to those days when we were coding, like I think 5 lectures before, right? String : npos, N-P-O-S. Okay, semicolon after that. Semicolon. N-P-O-S, no E. Right? No E.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so this says given a vector and a string, I will find out which index that string is in the vector. If I find it, if I don't find it, I'll just say return and pause, meaning some infinity, some large number. I don't know where it is, right? So that's what it says. Okay, now go back to your main. Now we've got the index, the utility method. We're going to go back to the right. So now find index of will return the index that we found for food 1 and food 2 in the original in my favorite foods. Right? So now what we're going to do is the user says food 1 is preferred to food 2, meaning food 1 should come before food 2. Is that the case? That's what we want to find out, right? Is it the case that food 1's index is less than food 2's index? Because that's what the user says. Do you prefer food 1 to food 2? Are we together so far? We want to check if food 1's index in the vector of favorite foods is smaller than the index of food 2 in the same vector. If that is the case, then it is correct that the pet, Alaska or someone, right, prefers food 1 to food 2 because the order of preference is the order in which the foods are in the vector. Are we clear so far?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, all right. Well, if not, we'll revisit this again, right? So now we're going to check. We're going to check, okay? So after, give me a new line on line, go to line 117 or something like that. Yeah, enter, one more enter for now. Okay, so if food 1 index is less than food 2 index, right? Okay, now
Yeah.
clean it up, and it's less than, not greater than.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Open brace there. Space and open brace. Okay. Now we're going to print yes, right? Because we want to print so C out, yes, and then period and new line or something like that. Capital Y may be nice. Yeah, and then a dot. Yeah. Okay. New line. Okay. Now we're going to do something. We want to check if the user's foods are in the same. So hang on. So we checked, and if it's in the same order, we leave it like that. If it's not in the same order, we're going to invert that. Okay. So we need one more utility method, right? So if not, all right. So let's do the else part of the if, right? If not, else, you say no. You say no. And also we'll adjust, right? We'll adjust, right? So else, you see out no. No. Now, because what the user said is not what is reflected in the internal ordering, we're going to swap those two around, okay? And say no, and then you can say, no, I adjusted your list for you or something, all right? No, wait a sec. Okay, all right. What we should do here is on line 113, hang on, it's inside the for loop. We're getting the list of favorite foods. So we need to say on line, we want to get the favorite foods of the pet and store it in a vector, right? So because it's been shuffled now, right? So you say on the next line, say foods equals my pet dot get favorite foods. Okay, so that gets the internal ordering, and then you've got the user who said, do you prefer this to this? and you're going to check. If it's not, you're going to go to the internal ordering and swap it around, right? So and then here on 116 and 117, for now, you can basically, it doesn't make a difference, but you can just pass foods instead of mypet.favorite_foods, right? So, and yeah, just pass foods instead of mypet.favorite_foods. It's not a function call, just say foods.
Okay.
Yeah. And after you've got the index, let's also say, on the next line, now on the next, enter there. If food1 index equals string : npos, or food2 index equals string : npos, double equals string : npos, or food2 index equals string : npos. What time is it now? 9:35. I think we still should be able to do it. Why do we have an underline there? Food. Why do we have an underline there? String : npos is not picking up. Why? Finish the line, maybe. Finish the line. Oh, double colon, not single colon. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And we only have like 25 minutes left, I think. So this may be a good time to transition. Otherwise, Flavio will never get a chance. Is it okay with you to transition over to Flavio today? Now, Rizo?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I send
yeah,
the
yes.
link?
Save it and let Flavio pick up the code. Flavio, are you ready to go?
I actually thought
Sure.
that I was going, but if
Andrew, can you go? Andrew, can you go?
I
Actually, I think
yeah, I got my account set up.
All right. If you're ready, go now. Otherwise, Andrew or someone. Andrew, you just spoke up. Are you there or not? Oh, Stephen. Was it Stephen? Sorry.
That was Stephen speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I need that link.
Are you?
just a minute. I will.
Where is it? Where's the code? Okay. Great. And you would be able to fork it at some point, I guess. Okay. Right. So go to the main.
Yeah.
Go to your main method. All right. Go to your main method, and then where it says, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. If further down, we're checking for npos, string : npos, right? If it is, yeah, food2 index is equal to string : npos. Food2 index, yeah, at the end of the line, string : npos. And npos. Yeah, okay. And then open brace at the end, open brace. Yeah, cout double $. I'm sorry, I only understand the following. I only know about the following foods, okay? So I'm sorry, I only know about the, yeah, I'm sorry, I only know the following foods. And then period, new line, semicolon, and then, okay, yeah, all right, that's fine. Cout double $, vector to string, vector join, right? Vector join of get favorite foods. Vector join of, I think it's foods, right? So you got them in foods. Vector underscore join, because that's a utility method that we created, right? Foods, because we got foods. Those are the favorite foods. Okay, so semicolon, and then you continue, and the next line you should say continue. So you go back to the top of the loop, right? You ask the question again, and All right, now we know. And so if food1 index is less than food2 index, you say yes, and you go on to the next question. If not, then you're going to say no, and then swap it, and then tell the user, I adjusted the list for you, and go back to the top, right? So go further down, line 120 something, right? So further down, further down. Further down. Yeah, okay, no. And then after the no, put a period, and say no space. I adjusted. No, at any time we need to have, oh, we can't, okay, we're going to have to make some changes. Okay, I adjusted your list for you. It should say, no, I adjusted your list for you. Right, or your list for you, your list for you. Or you're ordering for you. You're ordering, not list, right? Ordering for you. And then what it should do on the next line, on the next line, is you should say swap. No, not cout. Swap. Open parentheses, and you're going to pass it your foods vector, foods. And then the 2 positions where you need the items to be swapped, okay? Comma, food1 index, food2 index. Okay, semicolon, right? And then you're going to print out the adjusted ordering, right? So you're gonna say cout your new ordering is, or you don't have to say your new ordering is, right? You just say vector join foods, Okay, now foods is the vector that contains the user's ordering, right? And then it's and we're going to implement swap. Okay, so go up one more utility method. I think this is going to be the last utility method. Go up and let's implement the last utility method. All right. So under utilities, find index of, under find index of, create a method called swap. Further up, I think it's line 89 or something. 80, there, 80, 85. Hit enter there. Enter, and then void swap. So void swap, and then it's going to take 3 parameters. It's going to take a vector of string as a first parameter, passed in by reference. Okay, so vector of string, and then and passed in by reference. So it needs an ampersand vec. Ampersand, and then back right there.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Ampersand. You're going to pass a vector by reference. So type in the ampersand, shift 7.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Vec, comma, space, in size ti, size tj. Okay, and then in the body of this method, you say string temp equals vec of I, temp, T-E-M-P, or temp, equals vec of I. And then, vec of I. Vec of j equals vec of I. Now, if you're not familiar with swapping, guys, try this out on a piece of paper and convince yourself it works, okay? It'll swap 2 items, okay? And now vec of I equals temp. No, I'm sorry. Vec of j equals vec of I, hang on. No, hang on. Vec of I, no, vec of I equals vec of j, I'm sorry. On line 90, vec of I equals vec of j, and vec of j equals temp. Equals temp. No, not 10, temp. So that will take vec of I and it'll swap the two around, right? Because it takes this and put it in temp, takes this and put it here, and take temp and put it here. Yeah, it swaps the two items. Are we clear? Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, go back to your main method now that we've got the swap written. Okay, so I swapped the two. Where does it say? It says something, somewhere it says I swapped the two for you. Further down, further down. Further down, okay? Swap the two, vector join foods. Okay, all right. Now, after swapping, outside the loop, outside the else, right? Yeah, here, on line 142, enter, enter. Right, now you can compare the vector inside of the pet object with your food vector, and if they're the same, they won the game, right? Okay, so now you can say if my pet.get favorite foods equals food, what is your vector called? Foods, favorite foods. Yeah, double equals foods. Okay, now in the body of this method, you'd say see out, hooray, hooray, you got it, that's awesome. No pack up, let's go home, or so I don't know, right? So all right, so that's awesome. And then on the next line, a new line, you need a new line there, a new line, yeah. And on the next line, you can print out the final my secret ordering is, and then you can print the same thing out again, you know, see out vector join foods, my secret colon space, yeah, all right. Yeah, and then vector join foods. Yeah, and then you need a new line after vector join foods on also on line 141, but you can fix that, right? You need a new line at the end. Yeah, double less than new line, and then endl should do, you know, I think. Okay. Yeah, endl is easier to type than /n, right? Because you got to hit shift and all. So also on line 147. 147. No. There you need a new line because it's inline, right? It's inside of the string. It's harder that way. That's fine. Yeah, okay. But on 147, you need a new line at the end. Okay, all right. And then you should basically break out of the loop and say you're done, right? So you say break right there, break. Okay, and then yeah, at the end of the for loop, I think line 150 or something, thank you for playing my game, right? Or thank you or something. And then after that, we can clean it up and get rid of all the commented lines below 154 and so on. Something is wonky here because your indentation is messy, but we'll get to that. Okay, new line, /n. Okay, close. Okay, semicolon. All right, now why is your indentation messed up for cout? Because I think the cout needs to go after the for loop. It's not after the for loop. Okay, go back to the bottom. Go back to the bottom. Triple click on that line. Triple click. Okay, Control X. Okay, now put it on line 153. That's the outside the for loop, right? That's outside the for loop. Yeah, paste it there. Okay, indent properly, and then clean up the blank. No. It needs to be lined up against the closing parentheses. Okay, closing. Yeah, okay, and get rid of the blank lines on 150 and 151. And also all those commented that commented code below the cout can go. And you can just stick in. This is part of main, right? So you can just say return 0, and you're done with main. And that needs to be indented properly, right? So
I think there was just they took out, yep.
Enter. One more time and return 0. One more enter, return 0. Okay, does that look right? Okay, now get the logic part of the code in the main window, and we can run it in our head. And all of us, every one of us, we should run it in our head. Is it possible for you to It's okay. I was thinking, reduce the number of lines by getting rid of, extra super, um, unnecessary blank lines and open braces and so on. All right, further up, maybe further up. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are asked, we ask the question, and then we get the user input, we get the foods, and then we check and then let's see, where you say, all right, cut line 121, cut line 121. Let's take it outside the for loop, right? Because cut it, yeah, and then get rid of the blank lines and tidy up there. Okay, now go above the for loop, line 105 or something. My pet dot shuffle favorite foods. After line 100, just hit enter and paste that line. Okay, all right. Now we've got. Oh no! Wait. You want the no. Oh, actually, no. Get rid of that line altogether. We already got foods, right? So that's what we need. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, good. All right. So that's looks okay to me. So we've got the foods. After that, it's been permuted, right? Permuted. So the ordering is different. Now we've got to find out what the correct ordering is. So we're going to ask questions. And we're going to say, we're going to ask, is that better? Do you prefer this to this? And if they say no, then we're going to swap those two in foods. Okay. And then keep asking that question. Every time they say no, we swap the two in foods. Now, what happens if we say, we're actually missing a case here, we are missing a case. We can fix that after we run it and we see that it's not doing exactly what we want. We can go ahead and fix it. And if we don't have time, we can fix it in your own time and post it in the forums, or we'll fix it in the next, first 5 minutes of next class. That's perfectly fine. But if you run it now, I think if you run it now, we'll get a chance to play this game, although it's not going to be 100% right? So now run it and increase the size of your console, increase the size of your console. Right. Even more. I think. I think that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So yeah. So you can ask. Tomato eats these things. So you can say, do you prefer meat or mice? Meat to mice. Meat to mice. Okay. Enter. Yes. Okay. So it didn't do anything, right? So it actually prefers meat to mice. So now you can say, do you prefer meat to rice? Yes. Oh, wow. What about meat to milk? Meat to tomato? So it looks like meat is its most preferred food, huh? Unless. Oh, okay. Oh, no, why is it? It's tomato, not tomatoes.
Tomatoes instead of tomato. Yeah.
Type. Oh, well, I think there's a, we missed out a new line there before the ask a question. Oh, you're running it again? Okay. All right. You don't have to, right? Because, well, if you're going to run it again, you might as well fix it. Before ask your question, you need a new line, right? At the end, go at the end where you print things out. You're missing a new line somewhere. But you're missing a new line somewhere.
On 114. 114. I'm sorry, I don't at the end of that yet.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, you need a new line. Okay, all right, run it. I bet if you write tomatoes now or X, just say X, and do you prefer X to Y? It should say I only understand this, and it should look. No, to X, to something else. Something to some X, some unknown food. XYZ. Type XYZ. Type XYZ. Okay, enter. Good. Why why did you still not get a new line after 5 mice, right? After somewhere you're missing a new line. After you print the vector of foods, you're missing a new line. I think I told you.
Sorry, that was my fault. The
Oh, yeah.
114 was a different question. There's somewhere else that he has an I'm sorry. It should be somewhere else in the
I think it should be at the end, right? Like
I'm sorry, I only prefer the following foods.
right here.
There you go. See out vector join foods. You need a
Yeah,
new line
like
after
that.
that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Run it now. Run it now. Okay, run it. Now type, do you prefer X to Y? Do you prefer X to Y? Do you prefer X to Y? Great. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, now you can ask, right? Do you prefer meat to tomato? Yes. Okay. So it looks like meat is its most preferred food, right? Now you can ask, do you prefer tomato to rice? Wow. Do you prefer tomato to mice? Wow. Tomato to milk. Is this the what about milk to rice? Something seems wonky here. There's probably a bug, which we can figure out, right? Milk to rice. I have a feeling that, you know, when I only know the following foods is in fact the right order. We shouldn't be when you say I only know the following foods, I think you're giving the answer away. You should be printing foods, not vector.get foods. No, not mypet.get favorite foods. Where do you say I only prefer the following?
Yeah, I did a no question and like it adjusted the ordering.
Where is it? Can we look at the logic of the program again?
Sure.
Yeah, increase the size of the code and decrease the size of the console. All right. So I only prefer. Okay.
I adjusted ordering for use here.
Okay. All right. So I just did the ordering, and then it prints foods. That is fine. That is also fine. And further up, I think maybe I only know the following foods. Yeah, I only know the following foods. Okay, that is correct. And foods is somehow not being shuffled. It seems to be the correct order. Where are you getting foods? Go up more, up more. Okay. Do you have foods equals? No. Foods equals my pet dot. Oh, I see. There you go. All right. So what's going on here is that vector foods equals that should come after you shuffle, not before, right? And triple click on 98. Triple click on 98. Delete. Control X. Control X. Okay. Now after you shuffle on line 99, enter after line 99. Enter. Paste it now. Okay. Indent properly. Indent properly. Okay, now it's got favorite foods, it's shuffled, and your foods vector has got to be a different order now, right? So that's where we want to be. Now we can increase the size of the console and play it again. Let's see what happens. Okay. What's going on? What's the error? See out double less than.
Yeah, there was an error.
Foods. Oh, why does it say foods not known? Where does it say? Oh, of course, that cout also should go after, right? That's cout after you declare on line 100, you got the foods, right? So that line 98 should go after line 100. Triple click on 98, triple click on 98, triple click. Yeah, triple click on 98. Yeah, control X. Okay, and go after 100 line. No, after 99. After 99, enter. Okay, now paste it. Okay, indent properly, and you're good to go. Okay. All right. Now run it. Now run it. Okay, so it eats, where does it print? It eats, okay, it eats the shuffled foods. Okay, now it says it is shuffled, okay? And now we've got to find out what the actual ordering is. Great. And also, I want to check one more thing before we run. Don't kill it. Just scroll in your code down. Scroll in your code where you check the find the index off. Okay, right. So when we find the index off, we don't want to find the index off in foods. We want to find the index off in my pet dot favorite foods, because we want the index in the pet, not in our. Okay, so okay, so here you go. We're going to make some changes here. Okay, so change foods in line 121 to my pet dot get favorite foods, and there you go. Yeah, no, the first one, the vector. The vector should be okay. My pet dot favorite foods. Damn, it seems like 10 o'clock. The Big Ben is striking. Is it 10 o'clock? We're almost done. We're like 5 minutes away. Honestly.
It is.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes away, and I think what we can do. Well, let's finish this, okay? And do the same thing. No, this is the next one also, right? The next one also. My vet, yeah. And we also need to get the index from foods, because that's where we're going to do the swap, right? So copy those entire, copy 121, 122, right? Triple click on, copy lines 121, 122. Yeah, you guys are still not using triple click, and you're going to have these indentation problems. Yeah, copy, enter. Yeah. One more. Pull the mouse down. Pull the mouse down. All right, I can do it. Okay, later. Okay, copy, paste the whole thing. Paste the whole section one more time under that. One more. One more. Control V. Okay, indent properly. Okay, now you're going to say my food one index and my food two index, right? So instead of size T, my food one index, my food two index, my, okay, my underscore, okay, and then my food two index, and food one, food two, and can you increase the size of the code window? Right. Okay, so those are my indexes. Okay, and okay, now you got that, and then food one indexes, so on, and okay, if it's out of order, you're going to swap. If they're out of order, well, you go to the place where you say no. Go to the place where you say no. Further down, I think it's 135. When you swap, you're going to swap it in foods using my food one index and my food two index. Yeah, okay. And I think that should do it, right? Run it. Yeah, you got to stop it and run it. Yeah. Okay. And I say, do you prefer meat to mice? Yes. Okay. Do you prefer milk to rice or something? Oh, wait, you got it? That is the ordering? Milk, meat, tomato.
Hey, Professor, I gotta go to a different class
Okay.
now.
All right. Well, anyway, I think this is all the code. There is probably a bug in there. I'll take a look at it also, but I would prefer that you also take a look at it. Now, can you please share the code for the URL, Stephen? And then, yeah. All right, great. Okay, I'll do a once over, right, of this code. I'll run it in my head, but I'd like all of you to also run it. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. I overestimated what we can do today. But it's done, right? We'll probably just need to wrap it up. I'll post a note in the forums, or you should post a note saying it's all done. You can go and play it. And if anybody's interested in turning this into a web-based game, let me know. We'll do a 1 hour session later on, and I can guide you through the process of creating a web app, right? And also host it on a server so people can go and play it anywhere in the world. Okay, so I'm happy to do that. 2 people or more would be nice, so I can guide you through this. But this is it. This is the meat of that code. All right. Now there's probably a bug in there somewhere, but play this game a couple of times, make sure it works. If it doesn't work, fix the bug. Okay. Now, is everybody okay? Take this game that Steven's got, play it in your own computer. If it doesn't work as expected, fix the bug and then post in the forums saying, "Hi, I took the code from today's lecture and I fixed one of those bugs, and here's a bug fixed version," and share the code. Okay, share the code in the forums, and I think everybody will be super grateful and super joyful for having this incredible game to play. All right, so thank you so much. I think we made some major headway into this game. We built a bunch of utility methods, know how to handle vector, a vector of strings and so on, and also a swap. So I think we did some major improvements to the game that we started with last class, and it's close to being wrapped up. Okay, so if everybody is okay with that, we'll call it a day here, and then we'll come back to this on Thursday. The first thing, we'll just tidy it up, fix it up, play the game a few times, and then, and if someone has in the meanwhile also done a web app, we'll also play the web app, right? We'll share the screen and play the web app too. If you're interested, just check in with me. All right, so thank you very much. I think we did some really cool and exciting things today. All right, someone actually mentioned something in chat.
So, Professor, we should write you email.
For what?
For like web game.
As far as this game goes, if you've managed to fix it or identify a bug and fix it, you should not email me. Post it in the forums. If you want to create a web-based app and you're comfortable with the C++ version of it and you want to build a web-based app, get a few more people interested and let me know, and I'll schedule an off schedule lecture any other time, right? Even in the evenings. And I'll walk you through the steps of how you can create a web-based app in JavaScript using exactly the same code. But let's get it working in C++ first, right? So if you have any, if identify bugs, fix the bug and post the code and link to the code in Reddit and say, it's done. Go ahead and play this, guys, okay? And you should also describe what you fixed, right? So there was this bug and I fixed this bug, right? So, and post that link. And I think people will be, overjoyed to see that. Does that make sense? So to email me, you only need to email me if you're interested with some other people to know how to create a web app, right? To put in JavaScript to put up on the web. You need to have reasonable familiarity with C++, right? You need to be like comfortable with coding with loops and for and all those statements. That should just come naturally to you. Once you get to that stage, you'll find that you just skim through the JavaScript very easily.
Okay.
All right. Is that okay? Yeah. Well, I hope we managed to cover a lot of useful stuff today. Just say yes if it was useful. Otherwise, I'll see you on Thursday morning. Okay. Come to class early. We'll start with playing this game, and then we'll take it from there. All right. And I think we're going to start talking about a stack data structure already. And we need to talk about linked lists also. So I think we can do that in week 11. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do stacks now, and then for next class on next Tuesday, and then week 11 we'll just do linked lists, nodes and linked lists. All right, that for Quest 9, and basically wraps up CS2A with starting from Hello World all the way to linked data structures in memory, which is incredibly cool. Thank you very much for attending. Just say yes here, yeah, like Andrew has done, and take off. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks.